Thank you, everybody. So I'm Rear-Admiral Craig Baines. I am the Maritime Component Commander for the Royal Canadian Navy, which means that I help command operations worldwide for the Navy on behalf of our Joint Operations Command in Ottawa. Thank you all for coming today. As you're all aware, an accident involving a Royal Canadian Air Force CH148 Cyclone helicopter occurred yesterday in the Mediterranean Sea off the coast of Greece. Le hélicoptère était déployé en mer Méditerranée avec le NCSM Fredericton, avec le 2e groupe maritime permanent de l'OTAN dans le cadre de l'opération Reassurance. Au moment de l'accident, le navire canadien participait à un exercice avec des navires italiens et turcs. The helicopter was deployed on HMCS Fredericton, which is presently deployed on Op Reassurance as part of Standing Naval Maritime Group 2. At the time of the accident, the ship and helicopter were taking part in training with their Italian and Turkish allies. Colonel Hawthorne and I cannot begin to express the depth of our sadness that something like this has occurred to our shipmates. To the families, friends, and loved ones of all 6 members who were on board the helicopter, we wish to express our deepest sympathies. As we now know, there were 6 Canadian Armed Forces members on board the Cyclone when it crashed. 4 of those personnel are members of the Royal Canadian Air Force, and 2 are from the Royal Canadian Navy. As released a bit earlier today, Sub-Lieutenant Abigail Cobra, a Marine Systems engineer, died in the crash. Still missing is Sub-Lieutenant Matthew Pyke, a naval warfare officer and bridge watchkeeper on board HMCS Fredericton. I will now turn over to Colonel James Hawthorne, Wing Commander of 12 Wing Shearwater, the home base of the Cyclone Air Detachment, to read the names of the 4 missing Royal Canadian Air Force personnel. James.
Thank you, Rear Admiral Baines. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Colonel James Hawthorne, 12 Wing Commander, Shearwater. I'll be reading the Air Force members that are missing in the Ionian Sea. Captain Kevin Hagen, pilot, originally from Nanaimo, BC. Captain Brenden MacDonald, pilot, originally from New Glasgow, Nova Scotia. Captain Maxime Miron-Morin, originally from Trois-Rivières, Quebec. Excuse me, and Master Cpl Matt Cousins, airborne sensor operator, originally from Guelph, Ontario. Admiral Baines.
I would now like to update you on where we are regarding the search operations. With tremendous assistance from our NATO allies, 4 ships, including the Fredericton, 2 Italian ships, and 1 Turkish ship, continue to search with shipborne helicopters and fixed-wing patrol aircraft from Italy, the United States, and Greece. This search will continue through the evening and into tomorrow. Right now, search conditions are good, but we are now searching a much larger area given the effects of wind and current. This search has been going on for some time now, over 24 hours, and has been absolutely assisted by the terrific work of our allies. They have been absolutely steadfast in supporting Canada in searching for our missing crew members, and we thank them deeply for what they're doing. A Royal Canadian Air Force flight safety team will depart Canada shortly to investigate the circumstances of the accident and will begin to work immediately upon arrival. As briefed earlier today, the cockpit voice recorder and flight data recorder have both been recovered. That completes my opening remarks. Again, our sincerest sympathies to the families, friends, and loved ones of all the members. I will now ask Colonel Hawthorne to add a few words, and then we'll open it up for questions.
Thank you, Rear Admiral Baines. It is with great sadness that I speak to you today about the incident that involved 4 esteemed members of our maritime helicopter family and 2 shipmates from the Royal Canadian Navy. C'est avec beaucoup de tristesse que je vous adresse aujourd'hui au sujet de l'accident avec 4 de nos honorables membres de la famille des hélicoptères maritimes et 2 collègues de la Marine Royale Canadienne. As stated by the Prime Minister and the Chief of the Defence Staff earlier today, these individuals are heroes who are doing what they always do. Tel que mentionné plus tôt aujourd'hui que le Premier ministre et le chef d'état-major de la Défense, ces individus sont des héros qui faisaient ce qu'ils ont toujours fait. As we wait for more information, our thoughts are with the family, friends, and members of our military family that are affected by this incident. Events like this remind us of the danger that comes with our call to service, and we are forever changed by them. To the families aboard the CH148 Cyclone helicopter involved in the incident yesterday, please know that we are here to support you through this difficult time. By providing home front support to deployed members of our team, you have played an integral role in the success of our missions. Now it is time for us to return the favor and support you during your time of need. And this is a mission that we take very seriously. You are part of our military family, and we are in service to you. Vous êtes membre de notre famille militaire, et nous vous sommes de service. To our military family, we need to be there for families and friends at this time. I know that you will open your hearts to them. We also need you to be there for one another, so check on your brothers and sisters in arms and provide them with the love and support that they need. We recognize that the current COVID-19 crisis makes it difficult to physically comfort each other, but please take a moment to call, text, or video chat with your friends. The Canadian Armed Forces offer a wide range of support services for our members, and everyone is encouraged to use these resources during this difficult time. After events like this, we're left asking a lot of questions about what happened, how it happened, and why. Unfortunately, we cannot answer these questions at this time, but I can assure you that we are working to find answers. A flight safety investigation has been initiated, and a team will be leaving Canada tomorrow to investigate the circumstances involving this incident. I would like to take this time to reiterate words previously said by Rear-Admiral Baines, to thank our allies from NATO, and particularly the United States, Greece, Italy, and Turkey for their assistance with the search efforts. During this time, it is comforting to know that we have support from the international community. In closing, I would like to reiterate that our military family stands together during difficult times like these, and I encourage everyone affected by this unfortunate incident to reach out to those that bring you comfort. Pour terminer, j'aimerais réitérer que notre famille militaire est unie lors de ce temps difficile et j'encourage tous ceux affectés par cet événement. Merci beaucoup. Thank you very much.
Thank you. If you have questions now, yes, go ahead, and please indicate who it is to whom you'd like to speak.
Yeah, so a search on the ocean is always very difficult. Even in relatively calm conditions, very small objects in the water are very difficult to find over long periods of time, especially as wind and current expands the search area. So even in perfect conditions, it is a very difficult thing to do a search on the water. But they are continuing, and they will continue to search while they believe there's still an opportunity to find survivors. So right now I can tell you that they have found debris that is associated with the helicopter, but it is absolutely too early at this point to know what happened. And the investigation that we're sending over, the team will do a very thorough and comprehensive investigation into exactly what happened.
I do not have any safety concerns at the moment. However, the Directorate of Flight Safety Investigation will determine exactly what happened as they conduct their investigation, and we'll move forward at that point.
Losing this cyclone, will that have any impact on the operational readiness?
As you know, we're accepting new helicopters all the time from Sikorsky for the CH148 Cyclone, and this will not affect current operations that we are currently conducting with the Cyclone helicopters.
Do you have any plans yet, any details of the repatriation of the remains of personnel?
I do not. The Canadian Armed Forces are actively engaged in determining what those plans will be, and we are in the planning process now to determine that. Thank you.
Oui, c'est très difficile de trouver quelqu'un sur la mer dont les conditions très bien. Et même si nous avons beaucoup de capacité de faire la recherche, c'est très difficile dans cet environnement de trouver quelque chose de petit dans la situation comme ça. Mais maintenant, nous avons 4 navires et beaucoup d'aircraft et hélicoptères qui continuent de recherche pour le membre que nous n'avons pas trouvé maintenant.
Rear-Admiral, one question, please.
Hold on 1 second.
Oui, nous ne sommes pas sur la situation exactement avec cet système, mais c'est possible, c'était automatique quand les hélicoptères entraient la mer. Ouais, oui. Go ahead.
Do you have any plans to send any more military assets overseas to help with the search?
So we will be sending the search team over with support for the ship and the air detachment, including extra padre, social workers, and going forward as we look at repatriation, as we look at how we're going to manage the cockpit voice recorder and the flight data recorder, we'll then determine whether we need to send additional assets over to retrieve those so they can be analyzed back here in Canada. And so we're still in the planning stage. We all have to bear in mind that the ship is still involved in the search, and so we have to kind of wait and see how all that turns out before we know fully how much extra capacity we'll need to send over.
Are there any plans for HMCS Fredericton to return early, essentially, just come back to Canada this tragedy?
Right now, there's no plans for that. What she's going to do is continue to search, and then after that is all complete, we'll take a larger look at the situation. But right now, we plan for her to continue the mission and to keep doing what we've asked her to do.
Is there still a communications lockdown kind of with crew? There's obviously over 200 personnel on board. Have they been able to communicate with their family? Obviously, right now, there's one grieving going on. How the communication lines been?
Yeah, while we're continuing on with the search, those communications have been restricted. The commanding officer of the ship has been able to send a note out to the families of all the crew members to tell them what the situation is, but we still are restricting communications, generally speaking, while we continue with the search, because as you can imagine, it's a very dynamic environment.
Just one more question. Can you offer us more details and be a little bit more specific as to exactly what the helicopter was doing at the time of the crash, what its mission was, why there were that many people on board? Any details at all?
Yeah, certainly. So as you can imagine, when we work within our NATO task group with our NATO allies, we do a lot of training to be interoperable together. And at the time of the crash, the helicopter had been up doing training operations with not only the Fredericton, but the Italian and Turkish ship. They were doing recognized maritime picture operations and very common training exercise. And it was on the completion of that, as they were returning back to the ship, that the helicopter crashed.
What is recognized picture operation?
Yeah, that's basically going out and making sure that you have a very good picture of all the surface and air contacts that are around the task group. So they would have been out doing that and passing that information back to the ships.
Is the largest fleet of cyclones here in Guelph, and how long will this operational pause that we're hearing last?
Yeah, so the largest number of cyclones we have right now are here at 12 Wing. The operational pause will go on as long as the Air Force needs it to, while they do the initial investigation to make sure that there's no systemic causes that they have to be concerned about. So once the team arrives on the ground and start doing their work, they'll make a determination of how long the operational pause has to continue. Did you want to add anything to that, Colonel Hawthorne?
No, sir, you hit it right.
Nous allons continuer la recherche pour le membre pour le temps que nous pensons c'est possible de trouver quelqu'un qui a survécu.
In terms of the scope of this crash, is this unprecedented for our Navy?
I don't know if I could talk about the entire history of the Navy, but I can tell you that in my last 6 years out here on the coast, and in my memory, being in the Royal Canadian Navy for the last 32 years, this is certainly one of the most tragic events that I recall. It is an absolutely horrific event to have happen for our air detachment and our ship's company. I can tell you, having spoken with the commanding officer a number of times, that the ship's company is doing well, but of course it's a very traumatic situation as they continue to search for survivors.
Est-ce que vous reposez la question, s'il vous plaît? Oui, toutes les personnes à bord de l'hélicoptère avaient l'entraînement pour sortir de l'hélicoptère dans la mer. Alors, ils ont l'entraînement nécessaire pour ça.
Yeah, I'll be totally frank with you that it's just too early at this point. We're very focused on the search right now. Once we're further down the road, we'll look at what our options are and then decide whether, given the amount of time left on the deployment, whether it makes sense for us to try and put another cyclone down range or whether we just let the ship finish deployment as is. So a bit too early in the process to know the answer to that now. All I can really tell you is that the sea conditions have been good, that it has been good for the search, which has allowed them to find some debris. As well, the only other complication I'll tell you with the search is that they are in approximately 3,000 meters of water, which will make things difficult. So, but they are continuing to work, like I said, with the 4 ships and the multiple aircraft and the helicopters to attempt to find survivors. If that's it, I would say thank you very much for attending today. Appreciate it.